Good afternoon.
Welcome to the One Stop Shop in Baltimore City. I'm Michael Braverman. I'm the Acting Commissioner of Housing in Baltimore City, and I'm very proud to be here today with Mayor Pugh, our Council President, Bernard Jack Young, Councilman Reisinger, Mary Pat Clark, Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark, and Aziz Husseini, who is an independent developer in Baltimore City, and he was kind enough to be one of our beta testers on this system. So we're going to hear a little bit about that. We are celebrating the launch here of e-permits. We do have this wonderful one-stop shop, but we do understand that some people would rather be working than waiting online. We don't take that personally, and we have spent a considerable amount of time and energy to build an online permitting system that will allow people to get permits 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from home. And that's what we're here to acknowledge and celebrate today. So welcome, everybody. I want to thank Mayor Pugh and Pete Hammond, her Chief Operating Officer, for their support, guidance, and leadership along this project. And I want to also acknowledge the Mayor's MOIT, the Mayor's Office of Information Technology, and their staff for helping us launch this project. And I want to also acknowledge all the other agencies, because I know, Madam Mayor, you like when we collaborate.
Collaboration.
Right? And so in order for these permits to issue, there needs to be sign-offs from other agencies, from planning, from finance, from DPW, from DOT. So everybody has to be on board and to be able to sign off electronically. Believe it or not, for some of these permits, even in the one-stop shop, people would go to different agencies with a piece of paper and have the agencies sign off on this piece of paper.
No more.
No more. So it can all be done, the sign-offs could all be done online. We issue about 30,000 permits a year. For the past, say, 5 years or so, 10% of those were online. There were the big construction projects known as E-plans. The balance, about 27,000 permits, everybody had to come here. And we were very welcoming, but we understand that some of those things can act, some of those permits, 50% of those permits are relatively simple permits that can be programmed and can be issued automatically. And so of those 27,000, 50% of those can be issued 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can get your permit printed off your computer at home.
Give us an idea of some of those permits.
So the typical kind of permit for that would be fixture changes. Our electricians, our plumbers, the kinds of folks that are doing hot water heaters and putting in, changing furnaces, running circuits, the kinds of things that go on when you remodel your bathroom or your kitchen. That kind of work, which is almost in every job in the city, those contractors, many of them no longer ever have to come here and say hello to us.
Even though they love it.
Yes. So they can be working. And I talked to my own plumber. He said, I know they're going to miss me, but I don't think I'm coming down anymore. So that's what we set out to do here today. And I wanted to say that this is sort of a guiding principle of Mayor Pugh's administration, and that is to improve the customer experience so that the customer can be doing what we want them to be doing, investing their time and energy in Baltimore City properties. So I think with her support today, we're very excited to officially launch the system. And without further ado, really, I want to invite the mayor up to say a few comments. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So early on, right after the primary, I never forget, I got a phone call and said, I'm working on a project, but it's on the bridge guy's desk, and he said, don't rush him. I hope he's not here. And then someone said, can you make a phone call? And I said, well, I don't really do that. But it got me to thinking, how many times does someone have to wait to get a permit? Whether you're fixing up your own house, you're developing a project in the city, what does it take? And then when I heard how long it could possibly take to do a project or to get your bathroom remodeled or to deal with some plumbing problems that you may have in your own home, I was like, wow, this doesn't make much sense. And then I started talking to other folks in other cities and saying, well, can't we just do this stuff online? In today's age of technology, why aren't we doing more things online to expedite processes that just should not take this long? And so I'm really grateful that In conversations with Michael and certainly with conversations with Pete Hammond, we said we think we can do this. And MOIT, thank you so much for being a part of this, because we know that it wouldn't have happened without you. But to really think about this process of using technology throughout our city is really important. We had this discussion at the Board of Estimates meeting this morning. When we think about now how long it takes to even apply for a job in Baltimore City, because you got to come in with a pencil and a piece of paper, and then you go through these long processes, and sometimes it takes as much as 8 weeks. You know, we cut down on the time now of people accessing permits, but we want to do that throughout the city, utilizing technology platforms that will save people time. I want to thank my council folks for being here, and also thank Jack Young, our President of City Council, for being here, because we know that working together we can make a difference in the city and certainly in the lives of people. Supporting advances in technology is important, but more importantly, it frees up folks to do some other things that they feel like they get backed up on. I see smiles now on some of the folks that are working here, because now they get to do some of their other work without, as you would say, Michael, you walk in here sometime and the room is just so packed, you can barely get through to get to your own office or to your own desk. And I'm sure I hope you all didn't have too much withdrawal not seeing all the people every day. But we're really excited about what this means. So I want to just congratulate the entire team for modernizing city government, because we want to do that throughout the city. This is just another great example of what we can do working together, Julie. Just working together, we can come up with these solutions of how we save the city taxpayers some dollars and time, and how we save ourselves some dollars and time, and free people up to begin to think about the bigger ideas, the greater ideas, the things that we can collaborate on that will make our city great. So thank you all for all the work that you've done, and Michael for leading this effort, and certainly Pete's not here, but him as well. And I know that when I talk to different members of our city council, they too ask the question, why are we not doing this particular thing online? How come we're not making it easier for people to get what they need in our city? And we're going to do that. So with that having been said, I guess I'll let the President of the City Council say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was really excited, because this is something that Baltimore County was doing, and I was like, why are we not doing that in the city of Baltimore? And when Mayor Pugh came on board, and we had our first Board of Estimate meeting, she said, wow, what is this? With all these books, why we can't, come into the 21st century? And I was happy to hear that. And at the Board of Estimate, we were talking to the HR department, like the mayor alluded to, telling them that we need to use this technology. So we have a technology mayor, a technology president, technology council people, and we want to make things easy for our citizens and for businesses to not have to come downtown dealing with the parking and those other issues that keep them, worried about, am I getting a ticket on my car? But most importantly, for these workers here who, there's some great workers. I come over here, I remember when the chairs used to be filled up, and some of the people be complaining about why they're waiting so long to get this done, because they have to go this station, that station, that station, and the workers will still have a beautiful smile on their face. So I just want to give a round of applause to the workers who have to work here every day. So I'm looking forward to working with the mayor to move Baltimore City into the 21st century in all of our departments. Thank you.
I know you acknowledged Councilman Reisinger and Councilwoman Mayor Pat Clark. Thank you all for being here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will say, Mr. Council President, thank you also. Your new councilman, Yitzi Schleifer, had a business dealing with technology. He volunteered his time to come in and look at our beta model and give us advice and guidance during the course of it. And so we did some beta testing before we launched. That's what made what I think we have launched only on, we've been sort of in a soft launch, Madam Mayor, for the past 30 days. It's only 30 days into it, and 30%, between 30 and 40% of every permit every day is already online. Wow. And we're 30 days into it. And some of that is because it's worked so far without a hiccup, because of the beta testing, because of the time that our contractors took to work through it with us, to sit down with our programmers and our staff and understand it. One of those is here today, and I want to invite him up to say a few words. We're very lucky to have entrepreneurs like Aziz Husseini here, as his own company, and I want to say that Madam Mayor, when there was a line here in the morning, people who are contractors or changing a hot water heater, those kinds of folks who work for Aziz, they would line up out here and spend the time it took to drive down, get a permit, and then drive to the job. They could be working all that time now that they spent online and coming back and forth. They're on the job. So we have increased productivity in Baltimore City, and some of that we have Aziz to thank for. So Aziz, would you come up and just say a few words?
Hey, Aziz Husseini, thank you, Michael, Madam Mayor, Member of City Council. So I'll be quick. I'm sure everybody wants to get somewhere else.
There's some cupcakes.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to get to the cupcakes, right? So no, for somebody like me as a business owner, this is really important because I am your prototypical millennial, so I don't have a car. So that means for me to either walk here or take an $7 Uber or Lyft, 5-10 times a week to come here and sit for 2 hours of my time. As great of a Wi-Fi connection that this building has, cranking out emails from here is just not as efficient. So, I really appreciate it, and I look young, but I was even younger at one point, and I was actually an IT major at UMBC. So when Michael invited me to try to break this thing, I was the geek inside of me was thrilled. But I think it speaks more to how inclusive this process has been. Typically, inclusion brings proofing and making sure that certain things don't go wrong, and I think that's probably why 30 or 40% of permits are already online. So I want to give the IT department a great round of applause for that. And it even works on a Friday night. Serious, Friday night I submitted an extension for a permit for 11 properties that I was doing on one street, something that would have taken a long time. I had my extension by Monday morning, which I was confused as to. I didn't know what happened, but I was able to pay online. It was just a really, really seamless process, and I think it's important as Baltimore City becomes more competitive with surrounding counties and cities to be up to par with our technological advancements. So thank you guys, the IT department, for making my life a little bit easier, and hope it continues to work and doesn't break down.
Thank you.
Don't worry.
You keep investing in Baltimore City, and we'll keep improving the process for you. But before we move on, I want to say, Mayor Pat, Councilman Reisinger, Councilman Bullock, I want to acknowledge Councilman Bullock who arrived. If you would like to say a few remarks, we would love to have you.
I'll keep it brief. You made our job easier too, believe me. And I just want to say, when I walked in here, I thought I was down there in Ritchie Highway at MVA. It's the same system they have when you want to renew your license. So, Madam Mayor, I want to thank you, and also Mike for helping us out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pat.
Well, I'm the least technologically able member of the city council, so I'm the most appreciative that the people that have to go out and fix things will have more time to do it thanks to this innovation. And I'm really grateful for it, and I've been in this room many a long time with people, and I'll miss that part, but they won't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here representing the 9th District. We know we have a lot of areas that have been challenged over the years. We're trying to court investment in our communities, and one of the barriers I heard about for years is the permitting process. I wanted to streamline that process and make it more effective and make it more transparent and predictable. So this is really a step in the right direction, moving us into the 21st century. So just thank you so much for making this improvement. It really shows our city's moving in the right direction. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Madam Mayor, I also want you to know this is not the end of it. There's still different steps. We in the coming months, we are going to enhance the service by allowing the folks who are getting their permits here also call for inspections. So we're going to automate the inspections so that they could schedule them online, not just calling the IVR. That should help you, Aziz. And then, Madam Mayor, this is a check we'll have to figure out how I cash later. But we also are going to roll out a handheld device for our inspectors so the inspectors can approve in the field.
All right.
So these are things that we have scheduled so you can go, Aziz, from one inspection approved and then go ahead and schedule the other one right away without waiting for the inspector to come back to the office. So these are the things that we have on the horizon. don't hold me to any particular dates, Madam Mayor.
We will.
Yeah. I just want to say, before we come to the end, I want you to say that, you know that I didn't program this system, and I want to acknowledge Councilman Costello. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to make a remark, you're welcome to.
We're e-permitting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you to your team.
Keeping it brief. Okay, Madam Mayor, you know I didn't do any of the programming, right?
You didn't?
No,
Oh my
I
God.
don't want to disappoint you. I want you to know that,
No,
that we
I-
have an incredible team here, you know, and this is something we haven't said yet in the course of this event, but this kind of work, if we as a city went out to buy it, would be about $2 million.
Yep.
And when you're paying $2 million, you are not paying for the software. That just gives you an idea of kind of what you're paying for with the third-party companies. It's a lot of sales and marketing. We cut the sales and marketing out. We went straight to work. So I want you to know, not only did we save $2 million, but we customized for our customers, and we continue to customize as we go forward. So I really want to take a moment to ask folks to come forward, Madam Mayor.
Please.
I want Shushan Chia to come forward.
Yay!
We have never before said his full name in public because we don't want anyone to see who he is or steal him away from us. Mara D'Angelo, who is in charge of special projects.
Yay.
And Mara, you know, literally everybody went through Mara, the beta test. Peggy White, who runs this one-stop shop. Peggy, Madam Mayor, Peggy, who runs this one-stop shop. So every single business process had to be approved by Peggy. Shushan couldn't do anything that didn't make Peggy happy, just so you know. Ghanshyam Patel, who runs all of permitting for Baltimore City, ultimately responsible for all of this. Jeff Veal, who runs zoning. Jeff, every permit also has to have a zoning component. Nothing can happen without our zoning colleagues. Nadia Morgan, who is not here, who I kind of really work for. Nadia and Julie, that's who I work for, just to know. And then Eric Uttenreither. Eric, where are you? Eric, who runs the permits inspections, so everything has to work. He knows the customers. And I want to thank Jimmy Thomas, who is in charge of the network and the environment that's all hosted in. Nothing could happen without Jimmy. So I wanted to end by letting you know who does the work around here, Madam Mayor, and to thank them. So that's the last I have.
Let me do a special thanks to the entire team. And don't you just love the diversity of this team?
Yes.
I mean, this is us working together. And the other thing that I always say, and they hear me say it in our cabinet meetings, collaboration, 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 but more importantly, innovation and allowing people to think out the box. I mean, that's how we're going to change some of the things that happen in our city, because you would be surprised. I tell people, good ideas become great ideas when you infuse them with others. So when you allow people to think outside the box, this is the kind of thing that can happen. So on behalf of all of the citizens of Baltimore, I say thank you. Thank you for not just doing your jobs, but going above and beyond the call of duty. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And nobody's going to steal you. The camera's off now. You can't even see their faces. Thank you all.
E-permits online.